We're coming in hot with inspiring guests, witty banter, and colorful commentary for today's veterans and military community. This is the Tango Alpha Lima podcast.
They call me crazy cause I'm facing all my giants. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
Whoa boy, Alphas, we are back. We're excited and we are just as good looking as last week. And you see we're wearing the same thing. We coordinated that just so you wouldn't be confused. And also it's a good thing. It's a good thing because last week when we're doing this musical Ashley's thing, I didn't even welcome you back. There's so many Ashes and so little time. And I hope that your time away from us was productive and joyful and, just fulfilling.
Yeah, I went on a massage retreat. I spent a little bit of time in jail. It was fine.
Good. Hopefully that's not where the massage retreat was, because that could get inappropriate and weird. Welcome back, AG2. We had a good time with AGOG. God, the entire American Legion cannot hire anyone else named Ashley. They can't, at least with the podcast, they can't photograph it, they can't edit it, they can't do. I'm gonna get confused really quickly, but I'm fine with the Ashleys that we do have. They're a good pair of Ashleys.
They're good enough Ashleys. Yeah. Good pair. Okay.
Good pair of Ashleys. Today, I am scrolling because my Ashley's runneth over, says super producer Holly. Yes, you are not inconsequential behind the camera, Holly. You are ever present in the Tango Alpha Lima universe. I don't really know what that means. We're not Marvel, Jeff. Just stop it. Okay, we have today. You have been out, you've been to jail, you've been in massage therapy, but now you're gonna talk about the club life in Chicago, I hear.
Yeah, let's do it. This doesn't have a title to it, so it will just sound like I am saying that all this happened, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, Jeff screwed it up. But you know what? In the show notes, because while you're doing that, I'm gonna go back to and it's funny, people could follow my Flipboard and know what the stories I'm choosing from, where they come from. But I'm going to find the proper credit and give them their due right now.
Okay.
Please. Sorry.
Okay. Well, let's just pretend that this was all me. I ended up at the Legion's wrestling night in Franklin Park on a second date, then found myself at an open mic comedy show at Franklin Delano. It's Delano?
Yeah, it is Delano.
But they
it's not. Holly's saying Delano is correct.
Is Delano right? Franklin Delano Roosevelt Post, number 923 in Chicago's Bucktown neighborhood, on a first date with a different person. I didn't tell my husband. Whether this is a sign of the burgeoning popularity of American Legion posts as nightlife destinations for 30-something Chicagoans or a social deficit on my part is unclear. The crowds lined up at the bar at Post 974 were a welcome sight for Gene Coyes, a Vietnam veteran and former post commander who manned the bar that night at the wrestling match. We just had to spend $37,000 for new air conditioning, he said. It's events like this that help keep the post alive. The financial challenges facing these spaces worsened when COVID-19 hit. At one point, Post 974's bingo night was elbow to elbow. Now they're lucky if they hit 75 attendees, said Post Commander Anthony J. Siciliano, an Army veteran. Although the wrestling event has attracted a few younger veterans, efforts to recruit them all are still works in progress. It angers me because sometimes there's a faction in the American Legion and also in the VFW where they kind of shun these young men and women, Siciliano said. He recalls facing similar resistance when he returned from Vietnam. Personally, I made a vow that I would never treat anyone that comes up behind me the way my group was treated. Many Legion members of that era tell similar stories, including Clemente E. Rodriguez, a Marine veteran who served in Vietnam. He's now the post commander at the FDR post in Bucktown, the first Hispanic commander in 60 years. Clemente's work isn't in vain. Kicking off the Memorial Day weekend on Friday was the weekly Power Hour, open mic comedy at the Post, held in a low-ceiling basement, reached via a stairwell lined with posters of pinup girls and war bond advertisements. Clemente, whom regulars refer to as Sarge, and his son Raymond Rodriguez tend the bar, which serves $2 Pabst Blue Ribbons.
With a toonie, as the Canadians would say. Right?
Oh.
Loony is $1 and toonie is
Toonie.
$2. Yeah, look at me. I am worldly. So this is amazing. By the way, Bloomberg, and the title is "Why Hipsters Are Invading American Legion Posts." It's a rather large article, and I think Legion posts across the land, and actually the globe, should read this, because I think thinking outside of the box. Yes, it's great to rent your space for weddings and bar mitzvahs and frisbee golf contests or whatever it is out there that you're doing at your Legion post, but there are things like this that can help. And I hope that this article, they buried the lead, says Holly. $2 PBR. I think that was a keg beer when I was in high school. It was a cheap keg beer for high school students. That I heard, because I didn't partake.
Yeah, but you were in high school when you were 25, so it's fine.
Right. Best 17 years a month. So a similar article was done about my post. It was the Wall Street Journal, called it the coolest club in Hollywood that you cannot buy your way into. And that article was before I joined, and we still get people today that reference that when they join, that they read it and they saw it. So I love this kind of publicity for Chicagoland post 9/23/974. And in our show notes we have the Chicagoland, ChicagoVets.org. They have their own website for all of the posts in Chicago. So this is great. I love this. And one of the stories you're going to see if you read the whole article is like at the wrestling night. He said, and then I looked over and I saw two girls that couldn't be more than 10 flipping off the wrestlers inside the cage. And that's acceptable at the Legion Post. 10-year-old girls can flip off people. I love that personally. Express yourself, young ladies. Express yourselves. What do you think of this? And also, I have a question for you. What do you think of the person on one evening going to one Legion Post on a second date and another Legion Post on a first date?
I think they're trying hashtag goals. Yeah, they're trying. They know that they're smart because they know that if you're a member at one, you're probably not going to go to the other one. So
right.
They won't run.
Not going to get called out.
Not going to get called out.
Because that's good to go. So we got to end up in Chicago one day and do the circuit. And I can see you performing at the with the pinup girls and war bond posters.
Pinup girl. I'll look into it. I'm in Chicago soon, so I will look into it.
Because nothing says comedy like those things.
Like naked women.
Not naked.
No. What do pinup girls wear? Just
pinup girls are not naked. They wear
tarps?
Patriotic things and pose like. Wasn't Rosie the Riveter a pinup thing? No. The pinups here dress like her sometimes. Yep. They're not naked though.
Yeah, they're not naked, but they're something.
There's something. Well, don't do your comedy as a pinup girl. I wouldn't suggest
I'd
that.
have to do it like this. Ooh, oh, Timothy.
And that could be your opening bit, and then you can go into something about war bonds. I don't know what's funny about those though.
Oh, I had some.
About war bonds?
No, I didn't have I had bonds. I used to have bonds. People used to buy me bonds for my birthday because I was born in 1936.
when I was in the Marine Corps, and if they've stopped doing this, I'm gonna era out me. But in boot camp, they made us sign up to buy savings bonds. They took an allotment out of our pay and made us buy these things. And not a great investment there. If you're going to force somebody, have them buy an S&P 500.
Yeah, put some.
Yeah, just bonds. Give me a break. Anyway, I'm glad that you and I bonded, and I feel like we're going to bond with our guest coming up, and you definitely will. Because today we're going to be joined by Lydiah Owiti, a foreign trained and certified attorney with a master's degree in international development management and project management, who is also a foreign-born military spouse. She is currently a manager of Military Spouse Professional Networks Fellow at our good friends at Hiring Our Heroes. Whoa, Holly moved my screen, and now I don't know where I'm at. She's a really good person. Let's just say that. Oh, here we go. Hiring Our Heroes, where she advocates for foreign-born military spouses and the challenges they face. We're going to be right back with Lydiah to learn more about her experiences and how she is helping others right after the break.
Hello friends, I'm Mayor Vilaus, and we are excited to welcome you to Charlotte. The Queen City offers endless opportunities to craft personalized experiences that stretch well beyond our hotels and meeting spaces, beyond our newly expanded convention center located in the bustling heart of Uptown. You won't want to miss one-of-a-kind attractions like the U.S. National Whitewater Center, top-notch sporting venues, and hundreds of restaurants. For those of you looking to get out and explore, you can easily navigate the city aboard our light rail system. For lots of retail dining and nightlife, and hopheads rejoice. Charlotte has undoubtedly become a southeastern paradise for beer lovers, with so many craft breweries in our vibrant neighborhoods. No matter which direction you choose, Charlotte's ready to welcome you. And once here, we hope you'll feel instantly at home. Delivering memorable experiences is Charlotte's DNA. And on behalf of our big-hearted hospitality community, we look forward to seeing you soon. Safe travels.
Welcome back, Alphas. We have quite the show today. This is areas that we've touched on pieces of it, but we haven't touched on the whole thing. We have our guest today, the esteemed, educated, and somewhat funny so far. Maybe she's going to become hilarious today. Lydiah Owiti, is that how did I say it correctly?
Yes, sir.
And she hails from Kenya, and I'm going to challenge her to a race later. Marathon.
Please don't.
So you're not a runner.
Oh, honey, my people run like gazelles. I am the slowest of them all.
Well, you can run with Henry. He likes to do those. He does those. What are they called? Not marathons, but
Ultra marathons.
Ultra marathons. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I think I can do. I'm a pretty confident person. Some call it arrogant, but that's ultra marathons not possible. It's not possible. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm not worried about you answering tough questions because you are a trained lawyer, so I think you're going to be okay. I'm gonna release you to Ashley, so get your lawyer skills ready because she's tough. She's tough.
She's so tough. Lydiah, thank you so much for being here. It's great to meet you again. I know we met last year, but so you have an interesting story, and one that has some twist to it, to the I talk a lot about military spouses that have a hard time getting work, and they have advanced degrees and they can't get hired for things. But you also have this added on, being a foreign-born military spouse. Can you tell us what that's like?
Oh, Ashley, if I were to talk about how it's like, we would all live here probably in tears, but I'd like to keep it short and maybe sweet if I can. I am a foreign trained lawyer, and as you know, the Commonwealth law that we study in Kenya is not the same as the one in America. So when I landed here sometime in 2012, the shock of my life was that my law degree was practically useless. I say that loosely, hoping that one day probably it will change. So yeah, after that shocker, then came the next shocker, which is I'm a military spouse. Never heard of that term, never knew what it entailed and everything, never knew what the life would come with. But then it just added on top of all the things that I didn't want to hear, and that was added on my plate. So it was challenging emotionally, it was challenging financially, it was challenging in ways that are sometimes I cannot explain, because there was so much going on with my husband being deployed out of the country at the time. It was a new environment for me. Then I was left alone, trying to navigate that, plus trying to figure out now what am I going to do with my profession. And a lot of things were happening at the same time that I really cannot understand how I went through it. But for sure, having credentials that you cannot use, on top of my law degree, I also had a master's degree in international development management, but I didn't have enough experience. And so I thought, oh, maybe it's because of lack of experience in this particular field that may be causing me all this, challenges with landing a job. However, I don't think that was it only. The fact that within a year we were moving from Delaware into the next station then complicated things as well. Those years, remote work was not as it is common right now. So it was challenge after challenge after challenge. But for sure, I'll tell you, it's not easy to cope, because as a professional, if maybe I did the master's degree here, I had some classmates, I had some, friends, then it would have been easier. But all my networks were left back in my country. And so I had to even learn how to acclimate to the cultural differences with how you get a network that can be able to now, open doors for you. So I can't, it's a long list, Ashley, for sure, but I'm trying to shorten it as much as possible. Yeah. I'd just say that I'm here today because of the networks that I learned to create along the way. But yeah, it was not easy.
Yeah, I can't imagine. What is it? When you came here, I assume you tried to get a job in a law firm. Is that accurate?
Yes, I did, because I was interested in continuing with my profession for sure. Mm-hmm. But then, when they read where I had studied,
right, then they were like, no. So did you ever meet and talk to other lawyers, or even look into the differences in how the degrees are formulated, and then go, it's the same, like I did, or maybe there's cases where you did more work for something, or you know what I mean? Did you ever go, this isn't fair?
I didn't go, this is unfair. I was like, this is insane. This is insane. How do you define insanity? This exact thing. Because the first lesson in school is you don't have to know everything as a lawyer, because it's too much to know. You just have to know where to find it. I have the training, I have the background, I know where to find what I need. So what are you telling me? That I don't know where to find the particular law that I need to apply to a particular situation, and to, argue a case and to do what I need to do? Or what is the difference between where I was trained and where I am? Particularly the fact that, the Commonwealth is a very large network. So I did my master's degree in London. And as I did it, I interned and continued with my profession as I did my master's degree. So it was not, it came as a surprise that, okay, oh, London is okay, and the rest of Commonwealth, but then in the US, it's not. That was like a big, a big shocker, because what it took, even for when I was practicing in Kenya, when you go to another country, you just sit the bar, or you just do some paperwork to show that, you know, you are a member of the bar in this country. And if they have like some reciprocity, you simply get your practicing certificate and you move on. But in America is a whole, so.
Oh, Lydia.
Yeah.
America's next level in this.
Oh, honey.
Professional credentials are not even granted for the whole country. If you take the bar, if my friend took the bar in Chicago, they're not able to practice law in California.
And did you know how I realized that?
They have to take the bar again in California. California has reciprocity with no other state.
Did you know how I came to find that out, Jeff? I whispered this in your ears. My husband told me, by the way, I hear you want to pursue your law. If we move from this state to the next, you might not be able to practice. I was like, what? What do you mean? So apart from just not being able to practice in that state, even the next state I might not be able to. So mind-boggling. I don't know how to.
I mean, and it's pervasive throughout everything. I mean, they're trying to get truck drivers in the military, when they get out, to even have a license to drive a truck
across
commercially.
Yeah,
because it's not the same license. It's crazy. So, by the way, easy question: what branch is your husband in?
He's now retired. Army.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have Army and an Air Force wife over there. Yeah. And I have no spouse, so I'm searching for a Marine Corps veteran spouse.
Do you want a referral?
A referral? This is your
You've been talking
business.
to my mother, haven't you? You've been talking to my mother. All right. So let's talk. We kind of get what the problem is, right? The problem is military spouse under employment, and the barriers going against you in solving that problem. But you out there are working to solve this problem in various ways, right?
I am fully immersed in solving the problem. Actually, just to update you, since we set up this, and now I have since moved from Blue Star Families. I'm with Hiring Our Heroes. And that's a space I really wanted to get in, because the mission resonates so much with me. And I don't want any spouse to face the same challenges I did. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to overemphasize that. I am so driven to make sure that spouses feel as supported as possible, feel that someone has been there and is trying their best to remove these barriers, or to lessen the burden on you, or to shorten the time it takes for you to learn something or maintain something. So I am currently, they say it's a fellowship with the Hiring Our Heroes as the MSPN manager. MSPN stands for Military Spouse Professional Networks. Remember when I told you my biggest challenge also was the fact that I didn't have my networks. And I had to learn the hard way to adjust my mentality into, as opposed to the Kenyan community, which is a very communal space, this is a very individualistic space where you have to do so much for yourself. So I have learned the art of, building something from scratch, building relationships from scratch, not depending on a group which, looks out for each other, but to go out as myself, present myself, get over cultural barriers. For example, how to refer to people by their first names, which in my country doesn't usually happen. Is usually you refer to them by their title of the job they're doing, or Mr. So-and-so, or it never gets to calling someone like Jeff or Ashley, it doesn't. So all that mental shift as well, the confidence to articulate your sell yourself or to toot your horn, which in my culture is also frowned upon. You're not supposed to be seen as someone proud or arrogant. You should be humble, but in this community, you're supposed to be like, show me what you've done, and I can do this. So there's a lot that has gone into who I am today that I want to use to support our military spouses. So as a manager MSPN, I'm working to having military spouses understand the power of a network, what a network can do for you, which most of the time you cannot do by yourself. Research constantly from Blue Star Families, Hiring Our Heroes, DoD, name it, all show that more than 75% of jobs are filled through networks. So it is nothing it is something that we have to emphasize a lot. We have to pay attention to it. So I am so happy that I'm immersed in trying to show the value of it. It is what has brought me here today. I didn't have no networks here, but I have got into this space because of the networks that I've been able to create for the last within the last 2 years.
Well, Lydia, I'm gonna tell you two things real quickly.
Yeah.
Number one, I have very little musical talent, but I could be a master teacher to you for tooting one's own horn. I do it all the time. I'm amazing, and I'm glad to tell anyone and everyone about it. So I can help you with that. Number two, if I can interject a commercial here, super producer, please don't try to send me payment for this. I know that you always want to, but I think one of the best things to me about the American Legion family is that built-in network. Everywhere you go, I don't know if you and your husband are in the Legion family yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you are, okay. But so I don't know if you teach utilizing that, because good Legion posts are rooted in their community. So I'm in LA, South. I don't know if you're still in Oakland, your phone number is Oakland, but down here, my post is rooted in Hollywood. So anyone that I know that wants to be in the entertainment business, I tell them that they need, have to, and must join my post the day before yesterday, not today. You need to figure out how to backdate that smack so that you can get right up in there and start networking, because so many people in my post are in that. And if there's a large major employer near a post, it's built in. So everyone out there, if you're not in the American Legion, first of all, I'm glad that you heard about the podcast. And second of all, join the American Legion post haste. So that ends my commercial, and I give the American Legion rights to use this on the podcast, and don't have to pay me unless you put it on national TV, which I suggest that you do. All right, Lydia. So, Lydia, you, I love the work that you're doing. Have we had to hire our heroes on? Yes, we have we've had to hire our heroes on.
Hiring our heroes. Yeah.
Hiring our heroes. Yeah. I think they've been on. If they have not, they have now. So thank you for the work that you do. I know Ashley is really passionate about the and underemployment of military spouses, and she's moved around. You just moved, in fact, recently, and she still has a lovely set behind her, and so she's very efficient at moving. So, Ashley, do you have any advice, or I'm not going to lead your question. What do you have for Lydia?
Do I have any advice? I have no advice. She's much more capable than I am in all the ways. Lydia, do you have any advice for me? I mean, she's I think, to have that extra layer, because there's all these things, here's what baffles me about being a military spouse and being not born in the United States is you'll have somebody that is from Italy, for example. I had somebody write to me. They moved to the United States. then they got stationed back in Italy. And because of the status of forces of agreements, they weren't allowed to work, even though it's where their citizenship was.
Ashley, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
That's what this podcast is, Lydia. Get started.
Get started.
You take me to something I should have actually brought first. Is I did a research paper, and I had to do it by myself because I was searching everywhere. I also have a research background. Where is any information on foreign-born spouses? Is there anybody talking about this issue? Nobody is. So I took the opportunity as my fellowship was ongoing to target, the challenges of foreign-born military spouses as my capstone project with Blue Star families. And so I have a research out there. I will send you guys a link. You can go read it, and it's on the challenges of foreign-born military spouses.
Yes.
Just that, and what we can do to ease their lives. One of the things I found out is, just as you said, it's your own country, but you cannot work there because now you're attached to America. And guess what? Americans also don't want you because no, you are not one of us. So you cannot work in your own country, and Americans will also will not employ you. So you're in the middle of, like, what do I do? And that's the reason why over the unemployment rate for foreign-born military spouses is over 60%. Over 60%. The one for military spouses is at 22%. Now compare 22 to 60. Why is it at 60? Because issues just like the one that Ashley mentioned. You belong nowhere. You are still under a green card, and you cannot work in your own country. Unemployment is forced on you for circumstances that really you wonder. So one of the recommendations I make is, let me work in my own country. If you don't want me yet, just let me work in my own country. Okay? Those things need to be restructured, because for whose benefit are they? How does it benefit you that I'm unemployed?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, why not allow me to work on base? Because that's usually most of the places where the spouses can work anyway. Did you know that spouses who are not citizens cannot even work for government contractors? Yes.
I did not know that.
And 90% of them are still not citizens, because it takes at least 5 years to get your citizenship. Now, probably more because of the backlogs and everything. So you are forced into unemployment for between 3 and 7 years as a foreign-born spouse, forced. Who wants that for themselves? Who wants that for themselves? Because when you come, and I don't know how to explain this, is that you come fully loaded. My research also showed that almost 90% of foreign-born spouses have 2 degrees, at least 2 degrees. They are so educated. Is this something about our service members who they like their spouses to be very, or the foreign-born ones be very educated? So imagine someone who has been working for a long time. Now suddenly you're married, and just because of that marriage, you are now unemployed for reasons that you can't even understand. I have skills, and I'm confined to this place anyway. Why don't you let me use my skills to help you with your work? You're confined at a station, and you cannot work because you are a green card holder or not yet a citizen. It doesn't make sense to me at all. But yeah, I'm definitely going to share with you my research so you can share it with your audience.
I think we
You
have
have
it
it?
here.
Okay.
Is that what that link is, Holly, under her socials? It says bluestar.box.com, and then a bunch of
Yes.
other things.
Should be that
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have it. So it will be in the show notes for the alphas out there. Another thing about the Legion is we lobby for legislation. I think there's a couple of things here.
Mhm.
Number one, we've lobbied for and are lobbying for escalated citizenship for people who are serving. So I believe was it the Air Force that had that program? It is, because I said, good on you, Air Force. And I admitted that the Air Force was great on this in leadership position. So they have a thing where a non-citizen can enlist or join the Air Force.
Mhm.
And by the time they're done with their training, they're not only graduating, they're swearing in as citizens.
Citizens, yes.
I think the next frontier is to escalate citizenship for the military spouses, because as Ashley likes to say, if you don't take care of the military family, you don't take care of them. Now she says it different. How do you say it, Ashley?
If you don't care about military families, if you don't support military families, you don't support the military.
There she goes. She says her own words better than I can say her words. So thank you for the assist. So I think somebody out there needs to write a resolution for military spouses to gain citizenship at a accelerated pace, because they are here. First of all, they're here legitimately, so you can't argue against on that level. Second of all, the fact that military families are on food stamps should be embarrassing as a nation, because this is a 2-income country now. Let's just say it. We're a 2-income
reality.
country. So we need to rectify that situation. So please, somebody write that resolution. And as I'm saying, I should probably walk the walk instead of talk the talk. And I will talk to some people about it. But I think a co-author or a reference point needs to be someone who's either a foreign-born military spouse, or someone who is the American spouse of the foreign-born military spouse. Did I say that right? You know, I get my crayons
right. You say that.
You know,
right.
I get my crayons mixed up. And then
I'll update you a little bit on that front, Jeff, because after I released the research, I got in contact with someone from Maryland Strickland, Rep Maryland Strickland office reached out to me. They wanted, for me to talk about those issues, because she was introducing a bill to essentially remove the 90-day residency requirement before, someone would apply for citizenship. I'm sure you don't know what I'm talking about. So let's take the fact that probably I've met the 5-year residency, right? But before I apply for that citizenship from where I am, now I'm in Connecticut. After I moved from Oakland into Maryland, now Connecticut. If I'm applying from Connecticut, I need to show I needed to have shown 90 days of continuous residence before I applied for that, for citizenship. So now that bill that Rep Strickland introduced was to remove the 90-day residency requirements for military spouses, because it doesn't make sense. I might come here and before the 90 days, I'm somewhere else. Apart from that, I might be here, but I'm facing certain challenges or, issues that I need to leave. For example, I want to go visit my family. This place can get very lonely. And, so many times, more often than not, the military spouses will not meet the 90-day requirement for one reason or another. So yeah, we did an article, I think Boots and Stripes. I get the name confused. You will help me on that. Or Stars and Stripes.
Talk with the news agency. Yes.
From? Oh my God. So yeah, and we talked about the issues why this doesn't make sense. And I'm really happy because that's a step in the right direction. The barriers will probably slowly get removed until probably someone will be like, can you just get these people the citizenship they need already? Yeah.
So I think where the Legion can help is supporting legislation like that, which starts with, in our organization, a resolution. And while you're talking to your legislator, this is something it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you. You have a legal background, and what are the differences in that training, and what can they do to help you pass the bar? And can that be done in like a 1 year Americanizing your legal degree kind of course? Like, that to me seems like such a no-brainer situation to me, because I'm sure that the base level of torts is different than in other countries, and you're the Commonwealth thing, you're all derived from British common law,
Mhm.
and ours is more tort based, but they can teach you that in no time, and they
We
can test
did.
that you get it.
Yep, we did a lot of tort as well. Tort was part of legal of law
So-
school and practice as well. So we know what tort is.
So your representative, and every state wants their money, so your representative could come up with a short form to kind of just catch you up on the differences, and they get paid a year of tuition, whatever, and then they get paid again when you take the bar. So I think there's a solution there, and maybe it's a congressperson, right?
Yeah, but that was in Maryland. I'm now in Connecticut, so that's a whole.
She'll take your call.
Yeah. Yeah, but the whole ball game is, I think, is just the structure of so many things. Take, for example, when I was applying to do my second master's degree in project management, because I realized I need something more portable and flexible to, keep up with my military life. They were asking me to evaluate my foreign credentials, right? So I needed to prove that those were master's degree. Even one that I did in London, they wanted to evaluate that and translate it into whatever they needed to translate it into. And then they were asking me to take English tests. Now you talk to me about having gone through all my life studying in English and then studying a whole 2 years of a master's degree in England. And then I come here and you're telling me to take an English test. You asking me to take
that most Americans couldn't pass, by the way. Yeah.
I was just like, man, this place just it deals you a number. It does deal you a number, But it is what it is. That's the requirement. What are you supposed to do if you don't have the English test submitted? Your application is not, accepted. So, like, okay, let's go do English. Okay, you do your English, you submit it, and then
I
you get
wonder
into
if any country has figured it out. I always try to think like, okay, has somebody else figured out the solution to this? So is there like other countries that like have better solutions than what ours is, which seems to take forever and costs a lot of money?
I would tell you, when I was coming from Kenya to England, nobody asked me for an English test. They understood, because they know that the language of instruction for me from kindergarten is English. So there's no need to ask me for an English test, which should be very simple for also America to know that my language of instruction is English. There's no need to ask me for an English test. I took all my exams in English. I did my everything in English. So I'm definitely proficient in English. If there are countries where people are instructed in different languages, then you can say for these countries where, maybe it's Spanish or German or what, maybe I might try to get them to do English tests. But if you understand the country and how the people are instructed there, it's basic knowledge. That's what I would say, basic knowledge. So I don't understand whether it's a money-making kind of thing, or it's like just trying to avoid registering many people in school, or I don't get it, But back to Jeff's point, having to be now certified as a lawyer, I have to go back to school. There's no short way about it. I have to go back to school. One thing I understood is that law is a postgraduate course in America. In Kenya, it can be an undergrad, which is what I did for 4 years, then 2 years of post law school, which you had to get a diploma, and another 1 year. So 7 years of training for you to become a certified lawyer. In America, you do something else for a bachelor's, then law is a postgraduate degree. So maybe that's where the difference is. But if I wanted to go back to practice, then I'd have to go to school afresh. And I'm not mentally there. I'm already exhausted on that path. So
I get it. Sounds exhausting. To back up a little bit, to be fair,
Yeah.
I've always been a proponent that the British, if they come here, they need to take a test and speak in American. Because American English is different. It's improved, it's enhanced. We just made a good thing and made it better.
oh Lord, Jeff, don't be one of them, please.
I mean, look what I'm wearing. I
Ah.
keyed. All right, Ashley. Let's get some military spouse sparks flying here.
Military spouse sparks. Well, I know. So recently I was at the Modern Day Marine, and I got to moderate a panel on spouse unemployment and
Mhm.
things like that, and that was neat because the commandant was there of the Marines, and but we talked about the new military spouse career accelerator pilot,
Mhm.
which is hopefully going to help a lot of people. And Hiring Our Heroes was there too. So is there anything, how are you benefiting from the Hiring Our Heroes, what you're doing with them thus far?
I am definitely benefiting because I am already getting to know all the other efforts apart from the professional networks that I'm working on, all the amazing efforts that go into, just making sure that spouses are hired. And it's a lot. There's a military spouse hiring events, there's a virtual or in-person Amplify events, which actually today and tomorrow we have a virtual Amplify. And the fellowships, and the continuous education or development where you can take courses and you can do, you can, if you want to venture into a different field, Salesforce, digital marketing, it's a whole host of things going on. And I'm just so happy that I'm immersed in just everything. I'm amazed at everything that's going on. I'm still taking in, this is like my 6th week. I'm still just absorbing everything as I also just focus on what exactly is going to be the outlook of MSPN and having spouses get to understand the power of networks. I'm really, really intrigued. So thanks for bringing that up.
That's great. I'm glad it's helpful. And I wish you all the success in everything that you ever want to do again.
Thank you.
There you go. And I also, I, as I like to say these days, thank you for your service as a military spouse, as well as please pass on the thanks to your husband. Army still counts. It's not
Yes.
Marine Corps, but it still counts. So Alphas out there, there's a resource there for you, Hiring Our Heroes. You can tell them that Lydia sent you, and they will give you the VIP treatment. I want to thank you for being here and talking to us about this. And I hope that we inspire someone out there to be the catalyst for change in this area, because it's not just one thing that needs to change or 7 things that need to change. It seems like there's a whole lot of things for people to do.
A whole system to do with.
The whole system needs, and immigration's just, it's one of the things that's being worked on a lot these last few years, because the world is different.
Yeah.
The world is different, and we need to adjust. And I appreciate the work that you're doing in that space. And I feel like even if your degree isn't employable currently, you're still utilizing those skills to make a difference in the world. So it was money well spent, time well spent, energy well spent. And I salute you, not indoors with this, but I salute you figuratively. Thank you so much. And we're going to talk about how awesome you are, but we're not going to make you sit through that because you're humble.
Oh.
Unlike Americans, we are not that at all, which is why we're the
No.
greatest it's ever been. So thank you so much. And we are going to talk about you, and we're going to do that with the Alphas right after the break.
The American Legion is raising awareness about PTSD and veteran suicide by offering hope, camaraderie, and support.
Be the one to help end veteran suicide.
The goal of the American Legion's Be the One campaign is to destigmatize asking for mental health support.
Be the one to ask a veteran in your life how they're doing.
Be the one who saves one veteran.
Go to betheone.org and help the American Legion end veteran suicide.
Will you be the one?
Welcome back, Alphas. I hope that your break was amazing and that you are ready to tackle the Tango Alpha Lima experience as we move on. All right. The Ms. Lydia, Ms. Lydia. One of those is correct. And since it's her culture to use the last name, I thought I would oblige. So what did you pick up?
Her last name is not Lydia, though.
Oh, yes.
Since it's her culture to use the last name, I thought I would
combined the
disregard it
cultures.
completely.
Ms. or Mrs. Owiti. There you go.
There we go. Yep, she is working hard. She's amazing, and I just, I when I was in high school, I was trying to go to school in England to get a degree, and I actually got into the schools, but then the degree wouldn't have worked back here. So I you just how does it all work? It's all just exhausting. So
That's why
good for
That's
her.
why you
She's
get
trying.
degrees that aren't employable in the first place. I see London School of Economics on so many people's resumes. Great school, unemployable, or at least there's no license. No one's a licensed economist. You're just judged on your opinions and how well you can write, I guess. But such is life. Such is life.
Is.
Yes. So, yep. I think her education, it doesn't need a CV. It just comes out in the presentation and the way that she can take a thought and processes it in real time and come back out, answer your question, and still be on point with her mission.
Yeah. She's going to be successful no matter what.
That's brills to me.
Brills. She
mentioned
that she went to school in London, and all of a sudden you're like, brills. So when I put it in the boot. It's
well, we got to get through this because I got to get to the loo and then down to the car park and then go have some.
Yeah, you're in your flat.
I don't know what they eat for fish and chips or something for lunch.
That's all they eat. Fish and chips and tea.
That's all they eat. Well, crumpets and with tea and things like that. All right. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, I get so bangers and mash. Isn't that Irish?
They have it too.
They have it too. Because they are okay, never mind. I almost said something that could get me in a landmine. I'm ready. Did that sound right? I'm not mentioning that food because there will be Legionnaires.
Holly's trying to get us fired. Good.
With spotted.
Get us canceled, Holly.
Spotted some other thing. Some people might think that's something need to go get a shot for, or a special cream. But all right, we're gonna get back on the range and we're gonna practice range safety because we are now ready to embark in rapid fire. Rapid fire number 1. America celebrates 50 years of volunteer forces, but faces tough recruiting environment. Military.com. Saturday, July 1st, marked the 50th anniversary of the all-volunteer force in the American military when officials did away with the draft, lotteries, and conscripting young men into the service. And some Vietnam veterans, such as the aforementioned person named White, but I don't have the whole article here, remember the uncertainty and shock that came with having our number called on television or receiving a letter in the mail. I didn't know about the TV thing. According to data from the Selective Service System, more than 16 million Americans have been inducted, another term for drafted, into service for World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. The last man inducted entered the U.S. Army on June 30, 1973. During the last draft conducted, the Selective Service said on its website, and yes, I provide you the Selective Service website in the show notes, because that's the data you all want to have. And all right, I have one thing to say. It's kind of inaccurate. We've not done away with the Selective Service. You still have to sign up. They just haven't used it. They haven't had to use it. I think if we get involved in a war with China and their seemingly unlimited manpower, I don't know. Could come back. Anyway, happy 50th, all volunteer force.
Happy 50th. Happy anniversary. We got the cake. Come on over. We're going to have some drinks. Let's just talk about everything. Happy anniversary, all volunteer force.
Which it's not really volunteer. I mean, I wouldn't have done it if they didn't pay me. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You ready? Do you have anything else on the volunteer force thing?
Let's bring it back.
Let's
I
mean, the infrastructure is in place. I mean, it's there. It's there.
I don't know why we don't.
I don't either. National service is an amazing thing. All right. Here we go. Rapid fire number 2. I didn't know what to do about this one, but I feel like it's a story that must be told.
Okay.
The New Yorker, we're calling out the New Yorker here, makes a joke of the Army's tactical bra. It's not. And the ones calling them out is taskandpurpose.com.
Whoop.
Women who serve in the U.S. military can and will tell you how often their body armor and uniforms were clearly not designed for the female anatomy. So it seemed like a positive step last year when the Army announced it was testing a better fitting brassiere that would give women more, I'm sure they didn't mean this pun, brassiere that would give women more support when they wear their combat gear. The overall goal is to produce garments that not only protect the user, but reduce the cognitive burden on the female soldier by discomfort and ill fit. Ashley Cushion, who is leading the program at Soldier Center, told Army Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology magazine in February 2022. Achieving this will improve the soldiers' overall readiness and performance levels, allowing them to focus on this mission, on their mission. All this sounds perfectly reasonable, but in a recent article, the New Yorker tries to take a lighthearted look at the subject, but ends up making the service's effort to provide female soldiers with better fitting gear sound like a joke. The article by Patricia Marks notes that the bra under testing is fire resistant, but not bulletproof. First of all, nothing is truly bulletproof, only bullet resistant. Secondly, it's a bra, not a tactical vest. The story also comes with a cartoon showing a female service member wearing something akin to the Marine Corps camouflage parachuting with their bra straps attached to a parachute. Does the New Yorker honestly think this is how female paratroopers make combat jumps?
I
Are
mean,
you canceling your subscription?
it would be a way to save money. I'm just looking at the picture now where she's kind of like hoisted up above, then they wouldn't need the extra stuff that they use for parachuting. So I don't know. I like that it's fireproof because I'm always setting fire to my bras. It's not on purpose. I just, I lean over while I'm cooking and it just whoosh up in the air. So that'll be nice for me. I don't have to go to the burn unit so often. But
well, you wouldn't even have to write the vote if this had been enacted earlier.
Wouldn't
no bra burning.
There'd be no bra burning. I know they'd just be out there with lighters being like, why won't it catch? Just well, just they're chucking it at the ground. Give
I
me your
want a boat.
underwear. Let's see if we can light those on fire. Come on, America. Yeah, of course it makes sense to make a bra that works. You ever walked through the military clothing shop and then you just see all the stuff and you're like, this is all gross, men and women. Like, look at the underwear. It looks like they chafed themselves into a fire. Make things that do seem better. Yeah. Guess what? There's women that are in the army. What's the thing that comes out about this is you'll see a lot of people write messages that were never in. And they'll write things like, oh, they're going to give women specialty stuff. You know what you should have done? Been a man. Then it would have fit. And you're like, oh, okay. Guess what? First of all, I know there's a lot of like guys, especially in the army, that work out their chest. They could use a bra too. Like, let's look around, There's some
Or the
big
ones that
chests
don't
out
work
there.
out, their chests probably need it.
Or the ones that don't. Hey, anybody can wear this. Okay. But have you ever been running, Jeff, and been hit in the eye with your own boob? Like, this is something that like Holly's like, I mean, these people, they just want to do their job. Let them do it.
And don't make fun of the innovation. That's all
Well,
I'm
here's the
saying.
thing. Here's my thing. If we don't make fun of things, what happens? I get people like, I make a joke about my cat needing to be declawed, and then I cut to him holding a white claw. And the amount of people that tell me I'm not allowed to joke about cats being declawed, and I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I just did.
And you're not, and they don't even get that you're not actually joking about a cat being declawed.
Yeah, they're super dumb. But I think what the problem here is, it's the New Yorker and not like a military organization that is making fun of it or something like that. It's not somebody that's in on the joke, and the military is very precious about that. They want you to, you better have suffered. If you're gonna make a joke about it, you better have been in and eaten some dirt. So I think we
can
should
be delicious. FYI.
make fun of it, and then but also they should donate all of their proceeds to improving the bra as well. That's what I think. Make fun of it, but then pay the price.
And I only disagree with you a little bit. You're a comedian making jokes. Is the New Yorker a news magazine?
Is it? I've always thought of it as like a funny thing.
Oh, well, that might not be on purpose.
Yeah, it might not be.
I love when Holly talks to us, but we have no idea what she's saying. So right now I'm going to go ahead and move on to rapid fire number 3. S.A.V.E. training at the New Yorker is famous for their cartoons. Okay. And that article is very cartoonish. I will just say that. All right. S.A.V.E. training at post 904 impresses department commander. This was found in the world famous Legion Town, where I'm running for mayor forever because they won't schedule an election. All right. The mission of raising awareness of the issue in the community worked as well. You can tell this is, again, an article that I picked up in the middle, including exposure on Channel 7 News with a morning interview. The major surprise in the effort was the response to VA S.A.V.E. training held at the Post. Department Commander Dave Riley Sr. and his wife Lori registered and participated as well as Bonnie Fikes from State Senator Mark Walzik's office. The class comprised not only sons, auxiliary, and Legion members of our post, but the Clayton, Watertown, and Carthage posts participated as well. The group also included representation from Clear Path for veterans and members of our community. A great cross-section of people with different reasons for attending, but all focused on the mission of reducing suicides. This is exactly the training the Be the One campaign wants to see at the post level. We want our boots on the ground American Legion family to be knowledgeable and comfortable being able to recognize when a veteran is in distress and how to get them the help they need. The results of a very good training session put on by Caitlin Treadway from the VA and Commander Dave's words of encouragement brought commitments from other posts like Carthage to do training at their posts as well, and promises to bring training back to their own membership and families from the others. Submitted by Dean Irk, Post Adjutant. Dean, amazing that you did this in legiontown.org. I know it's because I asked the Elpis to do so. I'm just sure of it. It's all me. It's because of me. But I thank you, Dean, for getting it done and actually typing out words in their proper order, which I sometimes have problems with. Are you familiar with S.A.V.E? We've talked about S.A.V.E training or the S.A.V.E program.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm
Oh, actually, I think we talked about it when you were on vacation.
Vacation. Is that where
in
I was?
prison? you were in your prison vacation. Yeah, so the S.A.V.E training and I love the fact this is another case to me of be the one moving down into the post. I should have had the 100% confidence that it would get there eventually. But again, I thought it was more marketing and awareness, and marketing and awareness, and it has been that, and it's done an excellent job at that. But I've always just craved for the post to get involved and do things that are actionable. And as that department commander said, boots on the ground. Super excited for boots on the ground here, and I'm glad that it was in Legion Town. Brings a little tear to my eye, but yep. Ashley, any thoughts on this?
I think it's great.
Or did I just emote too much for you?
You know I am a robot. Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's make it happen.
So are you AG or AI?
Depends on the day.
There you go. There you go. Do you have any shout outs, or did we go through so many shout outs last week?
Oh, my shout out this week is to my grandma for teaching me how to like burnt foods.
Okay. Are they delicious?
I mean, once you have them enough.
And not blackened like Cajun food. It's not seasoned.
No, she didn't mean to do it on purpose, but it's just over time.
Nice.
She's just over there burning her bras. Just remember how it smelled.
Okay. Well, then if there's no more shout outs, why don't we just go home and meet more people so that we can have friends and we can shout them out?
Okay. All right. You know what? I want everybody to just don't forget to subscribe to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. Please leave us a review. Give us a big old 5-star rating. Otherwise, I will give your wife the ability to read your thoughts. That's coming your way. So good luck with that. Just so the world knows how much you love us. If you have a guest recommendation, we want to talk to them. Go to legion.org/Tango Alpha Lima and click on the suggest a guest link. Jeff, bring us home.
All right. I have a request. If
Hmm.
you could give men the power of reading thoughts, because we're expected to have
I
that.
ask my husband all the time, do you want to be able to read my thoughts? And he goes, oh my God, no.
No,
So-
you're the exception. Yeah, nobody needs that. Nobody needs that kind of horror in their life. Because let me tell you something before I get us out of here. If you ever meet Ashley for more than, I'd say, 6 minutes, and you have some one-on-one time, you're going to hear things that are going to make you say, what did I repeat, Ashley?
That can't be true. That's not true. That's
Like
not
all
true.
the time, any story about her childhood or life, I'm like, that can't be true. That can't be true. That cannot be true. And it's there. But alphas out there, you know what? I can't read your thoughts, and you can't read mine, so I'm going to say them out loud. We need to get out there today, right now. Stop what you're doing and get everyone you know to get on this Tango Alpha Lima train, because we are becoming the true alphas. We're actually, because you listen to this show, you're better than people who don't listen to the show. And you can be proud of that. You can be arrogant about it. You can say you don't listen to Tango Alpha Lima, then I'm not sure that we can be friends. So get on out there and make your friends listen to Tango Alpha Lima. Support military spouses. Go to American Legion posts if you're a hipster, especially, and just zhuzh up the place, and just take inspiration from all the stories that we do, including the ones on this episode, which is season 4, episode 169er, which is now mission complete.